Good day, inderesTV viewers and listeners. Today I'm interviewing Halvor Horten from Bain Capital, Bain consortium that's bidding for Caverion. Yesterday we had news that there's a competing bidding for Caverion from Triton. Halvor, how was your initial reaction yesterday when you saw the news that Triton is also bidding for Caverion?
I think we were quite surprised. It's very rare in the world of public companies that an offer comes out without board recommendation and support from significant shareholders. So that I think took everyone by surprise. I think when we obviously looked into the offer in quite some detail, we do see and as expect that the offer has significant conditionality around antitrust, right? And what the offer did not mention is obviously that Triton controls a key competitor of Caverion, right? And they have a very complicated antitrust process on their hands, which will take a long time, possibly up to a year, even longer. And they're not making statements around their willingness to close the deal regardless of that antitrust outcome, right? So when we look into it in a bit more detail, I think our conclusion would be if you compare our offer now at 7, which is certain, we have gotten our antitrust approval. We're just waiting for a few formalities around FDI, but it's a certain deal that will close over the next few weeks compared with an uncertain offer that might close in a year's time. I think we feel more comfortable about the advantages of our offer, and in fact we don't see that our offer is in any way inferior. In fact, still should be a more attractive offer to all the shareholders when you take into account the time difference and the certainty difference that there is between the two offers.
So what are your plans now? You postponed the deadline a few weeks because of some regulatory issues, but you're not going to raise your bid for Caverion or anything like that. Do you have that on the table?
Look, I think we had to postpone our offer period by a couple of weeks. That would have happened anyway, regardless of the Triton offer, because we still need to get these foreign direct investments approvals in place. Those are formalities, and we expect them to come, but it will take another couple of weeks. So that I think we would have had to do anyway. I think we are reserving our options and analyzing what to do. But I think at this point in time, when we look at the offers, we don't see the one being superior to the other, right? And frankly, the other way around. So, but I think as in an investor, we won't have to see. I think the key thing for us now is we felt the communication in the market was not representing the full picture, right? So I think it's important for us to also make sure that investors understand the differences between these two offers when it comes to timeline and when it comes to uncertainties around antitrust, right? And that obviously was not put out there yet. And I think part of the rationale behind our announcement today is to get the facts out in a proper way, so everyone can sort of take a proper sort of decision based on the right picture of the situation.
Don't you have a conflict of interest here when you're representing investors who are sitting on both sides of the tables? They are also shareholders in Caverion, but they are also the same people who are bidding for the stock. Isn't that quite, well, not even that strange, but still, conflict of interest?
I would say no. I mean, we are not representing them, right? I mean, we're multiple parties in the consortium, and everyone also on our side will have to make up their mind on what to do, right? So I think they take their own view on things, and we take their own view on things. I think the consortium is still committed to each other, right? And I think the views of all the consortium members is that we believe our transaction, with the certainty it offers and the business continuity it offers, as well as sort of the plan of growing Caverion as a standalone company and ensuring sort of long-term competitiveness as Caverion, is in everyone's interest, right? And I think we and all the members in the consortium believe that plans that would impose a long and difficult process with a high degree of uncertainty is not great for the company, and is not necessarily a good thing for the future of Caverion as an independent sort of Finland-based company, right? And as we talked about, also when you take into account that sort of the time difference between the offers and the degree of certainty, we also don't see the other offer being a superior offer, right? So I think based on that, every member in the consortium have concluded with the same thing. But that's why it's also not the conflict of interest. They're obviously, they make their own conclusions and what they want to do, right? And we're not representing necessarily what they want to do. They're an investor that makes their own decisions on their equity.
Don't you think that from 7 euros to 8 euros, it's around 13 to 14% return? I know it's not that certain, as you said, but it's only maybe 1 year until they get all the regulation stuff done. So I think the extra 14% is quite good for just waiting how it turns out. Or is your only argument that it's more certain and the time value of money?
I think it's both of them, and I think you would have to apply a probability discount.
Yeah.
Factor that in, then the difference should be different than that, right? Because you have to apply a different probability to the deals actually going through. I think also it's also a long, protracted process that drags out in time can also have consequences for the company, right? And that could also lead into the probability of the longer deal actually going through, right? So I think there's a lot here that one have to think through more than just looking at the headline 7 versus 8. And it's a little bit sort of the way I think investors should think about it. Do I want to secure a good price now, or do I want to take the chances on something that is slightly higher that comes in a year with a significant degree of uncertainty attached to it?
Thank you, Halvor, for representing your view on this issue. Let's see how investors react. Thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you very much.